When we hear the words Ice Age, it often sounds like a single frozen moment in time, a world locked under snow, glaciers stretching endlessly, and strange animals walking through white silence. But the Ice Age was not just one cold event. It was a vast chapter of Earth's story, stretching across millions of years, slowly reshaping the land, the oceans, the skies, and even the future of humanity. During this time, ice advanced and retreated again and again, carving mountains, creating rivers, and quietly deciding where life could survive. Tonight, we move gently into that frozen past, not to rush through it, but to drift slowly through its facts, one calm detail at a time, letting the ancient cold settle softly into the imagination. The Ice Age was not a single, endless freeze where the Earth remained permanently locked in ice. Instead, it was a long period made up of many cycles, where cold glacial phases slowly advanced and then gradually retreated during warmer interglacial periods. These cycles unfolded over hundreds of thousands of years, moving so slowly that no living creature could notice them in a single lifetime. During colder phases, massive ice sheets spread outward from the poles. They crept across continents inch by inch, year by year, covering large parts of North America, Europe, and Asia. Then, over tens of thousands of years, temperatures would gently rise, the ice would melt back, rivers would form, forests would return, and life would expand once again. This quiet rhythm of freezing and thawing was controlled by subtle changes in Earth's orbit, the tilt of its axis, and the shape of its path around the sun. These changes slightly altered how much sunlight reached different parts of the planet. Though the difference was small, over long periods of time it was enough to shift the climate dramatically. The last major Ice Age cycle ended about 11,700 years ago, leading into the warm period we still live in today. In a sense, modern civilization exists only because the ice slowly stepped back, leaving behind fertile land, flowing rivers, and stable seasons. At the height of the Ice Age, Earth looked very different from today. Vast ice sheets, some more than 3 kilometers thick, spread across enormous areas of the planet. These sheets were not like simple layers of snow. They were towering masses of compressed ice, heavier than mountains, slowly pressing down on the land beneath them. In North America, the Laurentide ice sheet covered nearly all of Canada and pushed deep into what is now the United States. Cities like New York, Chicago, and Seattle would have been buried under ice. In Europe, glaciers covered Scandinavia and stretched south into Germany and the British Isles. The weight of these ice sheets was so immense that they pressed the Earth's crust downward, bending it like a soft surface under a heavy load. Even today, thousands of years after the ice melted, some regions are still slowly rising back up in a process called isostatic rebound. As the ice moved, it scraped across the land, grinding rocks into fine powder and carving deep valleys. Entire landscapes were reshaped without sound or sudden movement, only through slow pressure and time. Many lakes, including the Great Lakes of North America, exist because glaciers carved out deep basins and later filled them with meltwater. During the Ice Age, so much of Earth's water was locked away in ice sheets that global sea levels dropped by more than 120 meters. Oceans pulled back from coastlines, exposing vast stretches of land that are now hidden beneath the sea. One of the most important of these land bridges was Beringia, which connected Siberia and Alaska. This wide, cold plain allowed animals like mammoths, bison, and ancient horses to move between Asia and North America. Humans also crossed this land bridge, slowly migrating into the Americas over thousands of years. Other land connections appeared as well. Britain was connected to mainland Europe. Southeast Asia formed a single large landmass. Islands that are now separated by oceans were once part of continuous landscapes. These exposed lands were not always frozen wastelands. Some were grassy plains, dry tundra, or cold steppe environments where animals grazed and humans hunted. The shifting sea levels quietly rearranged the geography of the world, opening and closing pathways for migration without warning or ceremony. When the ice eventually melted, seas slowly rose again, flooding these land bridges and isolating populations. Entire human cultures and animal migration routes disappeared beneath the waves, leaving only subtle traces in genetics and archaeology. The Ice Age was home to creatures that feel almost unreal today. Among them were woolly mammoths, covered in thick fur and curved tusks, roaming cold grasslands in herds. There were woolly rhinoceroses, massive and powerful, adapted to icy winds. Giant ground sloths moved slowly through forests, some standing taller than modern elephants. Predators were equally impressive. Saber-toothed cats used long, curved teeth to hunt large prey. Dire wolves hunted in packs across frozen plains. Short-faced bears stood taller than any bear alive today and dominated vast territories. These animals were perfectly adapted to cold environments. Thick fur, layers of fat, and slower metabolisms helped them survive long winters and limited food. Many grazed on hardy grasses that grew in cold, dry climates rather than forests. But as the Ice Age ended and the climate warmed, many of these creatures struggled to adapt. Their food sources changed, forests replaced open plains. Combined with increasing human hunting pressure, this shift led to widespread extinctions. Within a relatively short period of time, these giants vanished, leaving behind frozen remains, fossils, and deep questions about how climate change reshapes life. Humans who lived during the Ice Age faced conditions far harsher than anything experienced by most people today. Long winters, scarce food, and dangerous predators demanded constant adaptation. Survival depended not on strength alone, but on cooperation, planning, and creativity. Ice Age humans developed tailored clothing made from animal hides, stitched together with bone needles. They built shelters from wood, stone, and even mammoth bones, insulating themselves against bitter winds. Fire became central to daily life, providing warmth, protection, and the ability to cook food. Hunting strategies grew more complex. Groups worked together to track large animals over long distances, using knowledge of migration patterns and seasonal behavior. Tools became more refined, with stone blades, spears, and later projectile weapons improving efficiency and safety. Perhaps most importantly, social bonds deepened. Sharing food, caring for the injured, and passing down knowledge allowed communities to endure environments that no individual could survive alone. In many ways, the Ice Age shaped what it means to be human. The skills, cooperation, and adaptability developed during this time laid the foundation for language, culture, and eventually civilization itself. When we imagine the Ice Age, the mind often paints a single image, a frozen world locked in endless snow where nothing ever softened and the cold never loosened its grip. But the reality was much quieter, more patient, and more rhythmic than that. The Ice Age unfolded over hundreds of thousands of years, moving in slow cycles rather than one unbroken freeze. Long, cold periods were gently interrupted by warmer interludes, times when the ice pulled back slightly, when grasslands returned and rivers flowed more freely again. These shifts were not sudden or dramatic. They happened so slowly that a human lifetime would barely notice the change. A glacier might retreat the length of a village over centuries. Forests would slowly reclaim land that had once been frozen solid, only to be pushed back again when the cold returned. This steady breathing of the planet created a world that was never truly still. Even in the coldest times, there were places where life adapted, survived, and quietly continued. For animals and early humans, this rhythm shaped everything. Migration patterns followed the slow advance and retreat of ice. Herds learned routes that avoided deep glaciers and favored open plains. Human groups adjusted their tools, shelters, and diets as landscapes transformed over generations. The Ice Age was not a frozen moment in time, but a long, gentle pulse, cold tightening, then easing again and again, like the planet drifting in and out of sleep. While massive ice sheets dominated the poles and high mountains, much of the Ice Age world was not buried under snow at all. Instead, enormous open grasslands stretched across continents, forming what scientists call the mammoth steppe. These plains were cold, dry, and windswept, but they were far from empty. Tall grasses, hardy shrubs, and flowering plants grew in abundance, nourished by the rich soil beneath. These grasslands supported some of the largest animals ever to walk the earth. Mammoths grazed slowly across frozen plains, their thick fur swaying in the wind. Woolly rhinos moved through the grasses with heavy steps, while herds of bison, horses, and reindeer followed ancient paths carved into the land by generations before them. Predators like saber-toothed cats and dire wolves watched from a distance, conserving energy in the cold air, waiting patiently. The openness of these plains shaped how life moved and survived. There were few forests to hide in, so animals relied on speed, size, or cooperation. Humans traveling through these regions learned to read the land carefully, noticing subtle changes in vegetation, animal tracks, and wind patterns. The Ice Age world was wide and open, its silence broken only by the wind, the movement of herds, and the distant creak of ice far away. Fire was not just a comfort during the Ice Age, it was survival itself. In a world where temperatures could plunge far below freezing, fire became warmth, protection, and a gathering place all at once. Early humans learned to tend flames carefully, feeding them with scarce wood, bone, and even dried animal dung when trees were rare. An ember that went out could mean disaster, so embers were guarded with quiet attention. Beyond warmth, fire transformed food. Meat cooked over flames became easier to digest, releasing more energy at a time when every calorie mattered. Bones were cracked and heated to extract marrow. Frozen food could be thawed, softened, and shared among the group. Firelight also extended the day, allowing humans to work tools, repair clothing, and tell stories long after darkness fell across the frozen land. There was something deeply calming about fire in the Ice Age night. Its steady glow pushed back the darkness, keeping predators at a distance and creating a small circle of safety. Around these fires, humans bonded, passed knowledge, and planned journeys across vast, cold landscapes. Fire did not conquer the Ice Age, but it allowed humans to move through it gently, one quiet night at a time. As enormous amounts of water became locked inside glaciers and ice sheets, the world's oceans slowly receded. Sea levels during the Ice Age were hundreds of feet lower than they are today. This quiet change reshaped the planet's coastlines, revealing land that is now hidden beneath the sea. Wide continental shelves emerged, connecting places that are now separated by water. One of the most important of these land bridges was Beringia, a vast stretch of land linking Asia and North America. Covered with cold grasslands rather than ice, it allowed animals and humans to move slowly between continents. There were no borders, no oceans to cross, only a long, open plain stretching toward the horizon. Migration through this region didn't happen all at once. It unfolded over generations as families followed herds and familiar landscapes. Lower sea levels also meant longer coastlines, rich with marine life. Early humans gathered shellfish, hunted seals, and fished in cold waters where land met sea. When the Ice Age ended and the ice melted, these lands were quietly reclaimed by rising oceans, leaving behind submerged landscapes that still rest beneath the waves today, preserved in silence. Life during the Ice Age favored patience rather than speed. Many animals developed thick fur, layers of fat, and compact bodies designed to conserve heat. Mammoths had small ears to reduce heat loss, while Arctic foxes grew dense coats that changed color with the seasons. Even birds adapted, growing feathers that trapped air and insulated their bodies against bitter winds. Movement was often slow and deliberate. Energy was precious in a cold world where food could be scarce for long periods. Animals rested often, migrating only when necessary. Some species entered long periods of dormancy, conserving energy until conditions improved. Others evolved social behaviors, huddling together for warmth or traveling in groups to reduce exposure to the cold. This quiet endurance defined Ice Age life. There was no rush, no excess. Survival came from adapting gently to the rhythm of the land, accepting the cold and moving when the time felt right. The Ice Age world was not loud or frantic. It was calm, slow, and patient, a place where life learned to persist by staying still, conserving energy, and waiting for the next subtle change in the long story of the Earth. During the Ice Age, the world was not just colder, it was heavier. Vast ice sheets, some more than 3 kilometers thick, pressed down on the Earth's surface with unimaginable weight. These glaciers moved slowly, almost silently, but their impact was enormous. As they advanced, they scraped, crushed, and reshaped the land beneath them, grinding mountains into dust and carving valleys that still exist today. Entire landscapes were flattened under the pressure. Hills were smoothed down, sharp edges softened, and deep grooves were carved into bedrock. These grooves, called glacial striations, can still be seen today in many parts of the world. They run in long, straight lines, quietly recording the direction the ice once flowed, like fingerprints left behind by a vanished giant. As the ice moved, it carried massive rocks embedded within it. These rocks acted like tools, cutting into the ground below. When the glaciers eventually melted, they left these rocks behind, sometimes far from where they originally came from. These erratics now sit calmly in fields, forests, and plains, silent travelers from distant lands, moved not by rivers or storms, but by slow-moving ice over thousands of years. The weight of the ice also pushed the Earth's crust downward. In some places, the land sank hundreds of meters under the pressure. When the ice finally melted, the land did not immediately rise back up. It is still slowly rebounding even today, thousands of years later, in a process known as isostatic rebound. In places like Scandinavia and Canada, the ground continues to rise by a few millimeters each year, quietly adjusting to the absence of the ancient ice. Lakes, rivers, and coastlines were all shaped by this process. Many of the world's largest freshwater lakes, including the Great Lakes of North America, exist because glaciers carved out deep basins that later filled with meltwater. Without the Ice Age, the map of the modern world would look completely different, shaped not by gentle erosion, but by the slow, powerful movement of ice. When so much of Earth's water was locked away in ice sheets, the oceans themselves shrank. Sea levels during the Ice Age were not just slightly lower, but drastically reduced by as much as 120 meters compared to today. This exposed vast stretches of land that are now hidden beneath the sea. Entire land bridges appeared, connecting continents that are now separated by water. One of the most famous was Beringia, a wide land bridge that connected Siberia and North America. It was not a narrow strip of land, but a broad region of grasslands and low hills stretching hundreds of kilometers across. Animals and humans could walk across it, moving slowly between continents without ever seeing the ocean. Other land bridges connected Southeast Asia to the Indonesian islands and Britain to mainland Europe. Coastlines extended far beyond their modern limits, creating wide coastal plains where animals grazed and humans hunted. Rivers flowed across areas that are now ocean floor, carving channels that are still visible on underwater maps today. The oceans themselves were colder and saltier in many regions. Ocean currents behaved differently, affecting climate patterns across the globe. Some areas that are now warm and wet were cooler and drier, while others experienced stronger winds and harsher seasonal changes. As the Ice Age ended and the ice sheets melted, sea levels rose slowly but relentlessly. Over thousands of years, coastlines crept inland, flooding forests, drowning forests, and covering ancient human settlements. Many traces of Ice Age life now lie submerged beneath shallow seas, preserved in darkness and silence, waiting to be discovered. Life during the Ice Age demanded special adaptations. Animals that survived in this frozen world were not simply larger versions of modern species. They were shaped by cold, wind, and scarcity. Thick fur, layers of fat, and compact body shapes helped them conserve heat in environments where temperatures often stayed below freezing. The woolly mammoth is the most famous example. Covered in long, shaggy hair with a dense undercoat beneath, it was perfectly insulated against the cold. Beneath its skin lay a thick layer of fat similar to modern whales, helping it survive brutal winters. Its small ears reduced heat loss, while its curved tusks helped clear snow to reach grass beneath. Other animals followed similar patterns. Woolly rhinos, steppe bison, musk oxen, and cave lions all had adaptations for cold climates. Even predators evolved differently. Shorter limbs, thicker bodies, and broader paws helped them move across snow and ice while conserving warmth. Some animals changed color with the seasons. Arctic foxes and hares developed white coats in winter, blending into the snowy landscape, then shed them for darker fur in summer. This camouflage was essential for both hunting and survival. Not all Ice Age animals lived in constant cold. Many species followed the edges of ice sheets, migrating with the seasons to find food. These migrations shaped entire ecosystems, creating patterns of movement that humans would later follow as well. Humans were not the strongest or fastest animals of the Ice Age, but they were among the most adaptable. Early humans survived by learning to read their environment, adjusting their behavior with the seasons, and using tools to extend their abilities. Fire was essential. It provided warmth, light, and protection from predators. It allowed humans to cook food, making it easier to digest and safer to eat. In cold climates, fire was not a luxury. It was survival itself. Clothing made from animal hides protected against wind and freezing temperatures. Needles made from bone allowed humans to stitch fitted garments, improving insulation. Shelters were built from wood, stone, bone, and even mammoth tusks, carefully designed to retain heat. Tools became more specialized during the Ice Age. Stone blades, scrapers, and spear points were refined for hunting large animals. Cooperation was key. Hunting mammoths or bison required planning, teamwork, and communication. These shared efforts strengthened social bonds and helped knowledge pass from one generation to the next. Humans also learned to store food, preserving meat through drying or freezing. This allowed them to survive periods when hunting was difficult. Rather than dominating the Ice Age, humans learned to live within it, moving with its rhythms instead of fighting against them. The end of the Ice Age was not a single moment, but a long transition stretching over thousands of years. Temperatures rose gradually. Glaciers retreated bit by bit, releasing rivers of meltwater that reshaped the land once again. As ice sheets melted, new ecosystems formed. Tundra gave way to grasslands, then forests. Animals adapted, migrated, or disappeared. Some species could not survive the changing climate and slowly faded into extinction, while others evolved into forms more suited to warmer conditions. Humans adapted once more. As large Ice Age animals became rarer, people shifted toward hunting smaller game, fishing, and eventually farming. Rising sea levels reshaped coastlines, isolating populations and encouraging new cultures to form. Even today, we live in the afterglow of the Ice Age. Polar ice caps, alpine glaciers, and seasonal snow are remnants of that frozen world. The landscapes we walk across, the lakes we swim in, and the soils that grow our food all carry the quiet imprint of ice that once ruled the earth. And as the Ice Age slowly faded, it did not truly disappear, it simply transformed, leaving behind a world forever shaped by cold, time, and patient change. During the height of the Ice Age, much of the world was not only cold but quiet. Vast regions were locked beneath thick ice sheets that barely moved for thousands of years. There were no forests rustling in the wind, no flowing rivers, and very few animals roaming across these frozen plains. The ice itself absorbed sound, creating an environment where silence dominated the landscape. Even storms felt muted as snow fell softly over endless white expanses. For early humans and animals living near these regions, this silence became part of daily life, shaping how they hunted, traveled, and survived. The Ice Age was not a dramatic, noisy catastrophe. It was a slow, quiet transformation of the Earth into a world that felt suspended in time. One of the most significant effects of the Ice Age was how much water became trapped inside glaciers. Massive amounts of the Earth's water were frozen into ice sheets, causing global sea levels to drop by more than 120 meters compared to today. Coastlines stretched far beyond their current boundaries, exposing vast areas of land now hidden beneath oceans. Entire plains connected continents, making long-distance travel possible without boats. Rivers carved deeper valleys, and islands merged with mainlands. The world map during the Ice Age looked completely different, yet these changes happened so slowly that no single generation ever witnessed the transformation fully. The oceans simply withdrew little by little over thousands of years. The Ice Age was not a continuous frozen period. Instead, it followed a gentle rhythm of cold and slightly warmer phases known as glacial and interglacial periods. These shifts were driven by subtle changes in Earth's orbit, tilt, and wobble, tiny astronomical variations that slowly altered how much sunlight reached different parts of the planet. Over tens of thousands of years, ice sheets expanded and retreated like a slow breath of the Earth itself. This rhythm allowed plants, animals, and humans to adapt gradually. There were no sudden endings, no dramatic beginnings, just a planet quietly adjusting to the movements of the cosmos. The freezing temperatures of the Ice Age acted like a natural time capsule. Animals that fell into icy crevices or were buried under snow could remain preserved for tens of thousands of years. Mammoths, woolly rhinos, and even ancient plants have been discovered with fur, skin, and stomach contents still intact. These frozen remains allow scientists to study Ice Age life in remarkable detail, offering glimpses into diets, climates, and ecosystems long gone. The cold did not destroy, it protected. In many ways, the Ice Age quietly saved pieces of Earth's history so they could be rediscovered much later. Rather than fleeing the cold, early humans adapted to it. They developed insulated clothing from animal hides, learned to build shelters that blocked icy winds, and mastered fire as a tool for warmth and survival. Hunting strategies evolved to target large Ice Age animals, providing food, tools, and clothing from a single source. Life was harsh, but not hopeless. Humans followed animal migrations, memorized seasonal patterns, and passed survival knowledge across generations. The Ice Age did not stop human progress, it shaped it, quietly forging resilience and cooperation over countless winters. Many of today's landscapes exist because of the Ice Age. Glaciers carved deep valleys, smoothed mountains, and created lakes as they advanced and retreated. Fjords, rolling hills, and scattered boulders left behind by melting ice still define regions across Europe, North America, and Asia. Even fertile soil in many areas comes from finely ground rock deposited by glaciers. As though the ice eventually melted, its fingerprints remain everywhere, silently shaping rivers, forests, and plains long after the cold receded. The Ice Age did not end with a dramatic collapse. Temperatures rose gradually over thousands of years. Ice sheets thinned, glaciers retreated, and plant life slowly returned. Animals adapted or migrated, while some species quietly disappeared. Humans witnessed changing environments over many generations, never experiencing a single moment when the Ice Age ended. Instead, the world warmed softly one season at a time until forests replaced tundra and oceans reclaimed the land once exposed. Even though the last Ice Age ended over 11,000 years ago, its influence continues. Ocean currents, atmospheric patterns, and soil distribution were all shaped during that frozen era. The climate systems we experience today are built upon foundations formed by ice. Understanding Ice Age cycles helps scientists predict future climate changes, reminding us that Earth has always been dynamic, moving slowly between extremes over vast spans of time. The Ice Age was not an anomaly. It was one chapter in a repeating cycle that has occurred many times throughout Earth's history. Our planet naturally shifts between colder and warmer states, guided by orbital mechanics and geological processes. The current warm period is simply another interglacial phase. Ice ages may return far in the future, just as they have before, following the same slow, patient rhythm that has guided Earth for millions of years. Perhaps the most peaceful lesson of the Ice Age is how slowly the planet can change. Nothing rushed, Ice formed grain by grain. Glaciers moved at the pace of time itself. Life adapted, endured, and waited. The Ice Age reminds us that not all transformations are dramatic. Some are quiet, steady, and gentle, unfolding over lifetimes too vast to measure. And as we think about that frozen world stretching across continents and centuries, it becomes easier to imagine the Earth simply resting beneath its blanket of ice. No urgency, no noise, just slow movement, deep time, and patient change. The Ice Age has long passed, but its calm rhythm still echoes through mountains, oceans, and soil beneath our feet. And with that thought, the world feels a little quieter, a little slower, ready to drift into rest.